What up guys, it's Chris with Barbeque. In today's video, I'm giving you a little sneak peek on what I do for all my competition ribs. Now, it's not just a competition rib recipe, but I'm also doing a collaboration with Red at Red's Barbecue and Pizzeria. Red reached out to a bunch of people and said, hey, I want to do ribs. Who wants to do ribs with me? Of course, me, being me, I'm like, hey, I'll do it, but I'll do it with a little spin on it with my competition's recipe. So, I'll put a link to Red's channel up here. Red has been doing a lot on YouTube lately. Not just on YouTube, but for his family as well. He is all about barbecue and family. He's starting up a restaurant, he's getting cooks around for his neighbors. He's just doing all kinds of great things. So please, I'll leave a link up here to his channel, Red's Barbecue and Pizzeria. Please go check him out. And what we're doing today is I'm doing a comparison between baby back ribs and spare ribs. Now, I really don't have a preference between the two. I mean, being a competition guy, I've just used spares. So I haven't really had any experience with baby backs. So what I'll be doing today is I'll be doing a comparison, in just in my opinion, of the baby backs versus spares. I'll be looking at the tenderness, the meatiness of them, how they cook, whether it's one's faster than the other, one's tougher than the other. So I honestly don't know. People ask me which ones I prefer, and I just say spares just because that's what I know. But today I want to take a deep dive into them and really see what the difference is. So let me show you what I'm working with, and at the end of this all, hopefully you guys will have a better idea of what you want to cook at your next backyard feast. So we have our racks of ribs here. Right here is the baby back, and right here is the spares. Now they've both been trimmed as best as I could. I took a lot of the fat layers off. Both of them have the membrane taken off. They are both a Smithfield brand from your neighborhood Walmart. And that's actually what I use in competition. I did find actually a decent rack that has good straight bones. As a competition guy, I'm always looking for the straight bones because it looks better in the box. Here's spares. Everyone really knows spares. They're kind of a uniform across. Each rib has about the same amount of meat on it. The ribs themselves, they start large on this side and they kind of tear down. And over here, the bones start to get curved a little bit. I took off as much fat as I felt comfortable doing. Some here, but that'll render out. As far as the baby backs do have more meat on them. Where the spares are a uniform thickness across the rack, baby backs look like they have more meat on one side than the other. I don't know if you can tell, but so over here it's about the same size and thickness as the spares. As it gets to about this point, there's more meat up here. You see the bones are right here and here, but there's more meat over here. So they get thicker. It's almost like if you think of it like a lamb chop, where it has the bone and then it has the lollipop of meat. That's what this reminds me of. I did try trimming off some fat back here. There's a lot of these strands of what looks like sinew. I tried taking a lot of that out, but it looks like there's layers under the meat. And I was worried that if I dug into these too much, I'd cut too much into the meat and wouldn't turn out to be a good rib. So I just left it. All right, so again, more uniform in size and meat on the spares, and there looks like to be like more meat on the baby backs, but it's not consistent across the rack. So bones, so they also have a curve to them. Spares are flat, and baby backs are curved because obviously, thinking of it like that, the spares are more on the sides, and the backs are obviously more on the back. But they are straight. These over here kind of go that way and they kind of straighten out, but the bones themselves are curved. All right, I really don't know how much more to dissect on that. I'm not a meteorologist or anything. I'm just doing what I know. So, all right, I'm gonna season these up the exact same way I do my competitions. What I'm about to show you is so secretive. If I hear anybody talking about it, I will want to come over and eat your barbecue. But no, really. So there are a lot of competition guys out there that won't give you the recipes. Honestly, I've learned my recipe from other people, and so I feel no reason why I can't share what I use. Because it's not the seasonings, it's not your cooker, it's the cook. So that's what wins the competition. But anyway, so here's what I use in the competition. So as a binder, I use peanut oil. It has a high smoke point, And we don't use too much. This just use as a binder. Just a small dab on each side. Just rub that in. First layer is the hot dirty bird from Cosmos Q. And again, I'm doing both ribs the exact same way. So do a single heavy layer of dirty bird hot. On this side, I am again, the first layer is going to be dirty bird hot, but I am doing a light layer of this one. Alright, now the top layer is going to be, again from Cosmos Q, a honey killer bee. It's a nice sweet rub. Doesn't have any real spice to it, just nice and sweet. And kind of do a medium dose of this. I'm not going to spend too much time going over the edges. Just make sure they're covered a little bit. And I use the sweet rub on the edges. I'm not going to worry about trying to get both rubs on the edges. There's not a lot here, and honestly, the edges don't keep a lot of the rub on it anyway. Okay, at this point, we're going to put it back in the fridge while our pit comes up to temp. With ribs, do not put room temperature ribs on the smoker. Smoke is attracted to cold. So put these in your ice box, your fridge, whatever you got. Just make sure they go on the pit cold. It's been about 40 minutes to let the rub set in. And you can see the color is spot on beautiful on both of them. All right, so our pit temperature is coming up. It's almost stabilized. So let's go outside. Well, the meat's definitely gonna stay moist today. Of course, I chose the one day in Phoenix that it rains, but I love this weather. It's actually beautiful. So our pit's coming up. I'm using the Green Mountain today. It's the same thing I use in comps. I mean, I take this thing to competition, so this thing is working like a champ. Man, it's beautiful. So obviously, with the temperature and the rain, it's going to be a little different, just keeping the temps up, but I'm sure the Green Mountain is going to do its job. Okay, get them straight. But okay, this is where we're at. Sitting about on the top rack, we're sitting about 275. So I'm a hot and fast cook. Close the lid. Let them go. So we are at the 3 hour mark, just about 3 hours 15 minutes. All right, so these things are looking beautiful. If you've heard me say it before, you don't cook the tine, you cook the color. And these things are looking awesome. A little dry in the front. I have been spritzing about every half hour or so. Differences, I'm honestly not seeing a whole lot of differences. Maybe the baby backs are a little more moist, but that's just service though. So as I was pulling these out of the pit, I did notice that the spares are more tender. Has a nice bend already. I mean, they're not done yet. They still have a ways to go, but they have far more bend. Look at that. They have some decent pullback. Yeah, looking good. No shiners. But here's the baby back. So there's some give, but not very much. Yeah, again, same. All right, so let me show you how I do my wrap. So first thing I do a layer of light brown sugar. Then about 3 pads of butter. Maybe 4. Do 4. Do a few lines of honey. 3 lines of honey. Alright, next thing I'm going to show you is this is another Cosmo product. It is the Cherry Apple Habanero Rib Glaze. Absolutely love this stuff. We're just going to do a thick bead down the center. It does give it just a little bite, but it's not horrible. And the last thing we're going to do is just a sprinkling of the honey killer bee. Basically just reinforcing the flavors we've already added. So about a light coat of that. Okay, and then the ribs are going to go meat side down on this. When you do this, check the bones, make sure there's no sharp spots on them that can poke through the foil. And we're doing 2 layers. So you want to do your first layer, that, bring it up center, kind of fold it together. Again, you want this tight. We want to braise the ribs. We don't want to boil them. These are tight. Fold the ends. Then the second layer. So I forgot. Let me open it up real quick. So on the back side, you want to do some more brown sugar. See that? Some more brown sugar on the back side. And another bead of honey. 3 lines of honey. Alright, now wrap it up. Spare. I also did notice that the baby backs have a little bit more pull back than the spares, just on one side. Not too much more, but it's enough to notice. Okay, so at this point they've been cooking just over 3 hours, meat side up. Now that they're wrapped, we're gonna let them cook for the remainder of the time, meat side down. That's gonna just help them get tender. So these can go back on the pit, probably for about an hour or so, hour and a half. Okay, so these things just got pulled off about 4 hours, 30 minutes, 4.5 hours. So, right off the bat, this is the spares, same bin. These baby backs, not as much, but they are probe tender. So here's the spares. Nice pullback, good color. And again, when you're probing these, you're not going for temperature. You just want it in and out like butter. Okay. So that's the spares. You wrapped up. Here's baby backs. Alright. Not as much bend on the top. You can see how it's breaking on the surface like that. However, you turn it over, that's a good bend right there. Nice pullback. There's not as much pullback on the baby backs as there are the spares. But again, do the probe test. Butter. So, alright, so these things cooked the exact same time, same temp, everything. I treat them all the same. Looks wise, the spares had more pullback. But other than that, they almost look identical. So we'll cut into these things and see what they taste like. Alright, so these are cutting really nice. Obviously it got a full house, so gotta hurry. Alright, so here's the baby backs. Wall to wall pink. That is absolutely beautiful. Light's probably not that great. So nice and juicy. Alright. I'll get these both cut. The spares are cutting even better than the baby backs, so they feel more tender. Oh, look at that. You can see that. It's juicy. Alright. Okay. Same thing. Put these in there and we'll do a taste test. Alright, taste test. So, Here's baby back. So again, the spares cut a little better than the baby backs did. These are still piping hot, so.
Yeah.
More meaty, obviously. The center of the lollipop part of it, it's a little drier than the rest of it is. It's coming clean off the bone. Nice bite through. But yeah, they're good. All right, after the spares. Nice bite. Instantly, the spares are more tender. So the baby backs were tender. It didn't have a hard chew at all, other than the big meat area. It was a little chewier. But the spares are just like I do at comp. I mean, it's bite through, clean off the bone. It doesn't pull off the bone, but it's clean off the bone. And just tender, it's good. So the meat on the spares is actually sweeter in taste. So again, everything was the same rubs, same sauces, everything. But the meat is sweeter on the spares. Really good. All right, so if you want more meat, go with baby backs. So with that middle section of the lollipop area being more tough, I would think maybe the baby backs need a little bit more time. But everywhere else along the ribs was same as tender as the spares. And the center of that was a drier almost. It wasn't as juicy as the rest of it was. Taste-wise, I'm preferring the spares. Like I said, the taste is just a little more sweeter. The rubs and sauces were exactly the same on each one, so I can't really explain it other than the fact that the spares are just a different part of the rib. Hey, if you're looking for more meat, go with baby backs. Still a good product. Maybe add maybe a half hour or so. Again, both of them got pulled off at about 4:45, and they were probe tender all the way through. So, but just that the lollipop area needed a little more time, and maybe inject it as well. If you're gonna inject, just go in that lollipop area of the baby back. Spares, you can't go wrong with them. If I had to choose, I have to go spares every time. So Red, thank you very much for the invite. I hope I did you proud with this comparison and to show you what I do with my competition recipes. Hey guys, again, go ahead and just check out Red's channel, Red's Barbecue and Pizzeria. Fantastic guy, awesome content. All right guys, hope you enjoyed. Go ahead and hit that like button. But other than that, I just want to make sure you all are having fun and I have fun experimenting and showing you guys what I do for competition. So until next time guys, keep on grilling.